हरे कृष्णा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्ता वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव जय श्री राधा माधव राधा माधव जय श्री राधा माधव। जय गौरनीताय जय गौरनीताय गौरनीताय जय गौरनीताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव श्रीला गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री गुरुदेव की जय। अनंत कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती निधि नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्दये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्ध अपसिद्धांत द्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलंबर सांबोधे पादाम्बुजायते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगावरायते गौरवीर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्देष्ट सज्जना प्रियः वैष्णवा सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरदुषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तडालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्येश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for the Brahma Samhita session this morning. We are on the second last week of the completion of Brahma Samhita prayers. So we thank all of you for joining us every day, Monday to Friday, for this Brahma Samhita session. Today we are going to start with verse number 54. Before that, we chant the first verse. Ishwaraha Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. Lord Krishna is the supreme cause of all causes. In all of these verses, we are glorifying that supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Today we are on the verse number 54. Yastvindra Gopamatavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanurupa Falavajana Matanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yeah, Rohini Mataji, you can go ahead.
Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Yastvindra Gopamathavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanurupa Phala Bhajanam Atoti.
Atanoti.
Sorry, Mataji. Yastvindra Gopamathavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanurupa Phala Bhajanam Atanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Sudha Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam.
Pranam.
Yastvindra Gopamatavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanurupa Phalabhajana Matanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Shobha Mataji. Oh, yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Yastvindra Gopa Adhavendra Ahosva Karma Bandhanurupa Kalapajanam Athanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Gona Mataji, you want to read the verse?
Yes, Mataji. Shloka Mataji or translation Mataji? Which one?
Whatever you like, you can read.
Okay, Mataji. Yastva Indra Gopa Matavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanurupa Phalabhajana Matanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yastvindra Gopamatavendra Mahosva Karma बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजाम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Okay, so Swati Mataji, you want to read the synonyms? Let's read the synonyms or word-to-word translation by His Divine Grace Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Swati Mataji, please read the synonyms. Swati Mataji, you have to unmute yourself. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Who? He who, Govinda. To, but, Indra Gopam, to the small red insect called Indra Gopa. Atava, or even. Indram, to Indra, the king of heaven. Aho, oh. Swakarma, of one own fruitive activities. Bandha, bondage. Anurupa, according to. Phala, of reactions. Bhajanam, enjoying or suffering. Atanoti, bestows. Karmani, all fruitive activities and their reactions. Nirdahati, destroys. Kintu, but cha, also. Bhakti bhajam, of persons engaged in devotional service. Govindam, Govinda. Adipurusham, the original person. Tam, him. Aham, I. Bhajami, worship.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
So Brahmaji, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So Brahmaji is actually telling that those who work for their own sense pleasures, whether it is Indra or whether it is Indra Gopa, anyone in this world, they have to suffer and enjoy the reactions of their activities, whether it is positive reactions or it is suffering due to negative reactions. Until one actually takes up to the process of devotional service, one has to go around this world from being an Indra sometime to being Indra Gopa sometime, being a living entity sometime, being a human being sometime. What is that? Jalaja Navalakshani Stavara Laksha Vimshati, 8.4 million species. We can happily traverse from one to the other as long as we're engaged in fruitive activities. Yeah. Rajalakshmi Mataji, please read the translation. Translation by His Divine Grace, Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who burns up to their roots all fruitive activities of those who are imbued with devotion and impartially audience for each the due enjoyment of the fruits of one's activities. Of all those who walk in the path of work in accordance with the chain of their previously performed works, no less in the case of the tiny insect that bears the name of Indra Gopa than in that of Indra, king of the Devas. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Right? So what is the one thing that we need to do? We need to just perform devotional service. We perform our activities which are imbued with devotion. Then we will be able to escape this law of karma, which is very, very, very subtle, very, very difficult to understand the law of karma. When what happens, why it happens, why good things happen to bad people, why bad things happen to good people. It's an entire discussion which may run for days. But one thing we can understand, that if you are imbuing with our heart with devotion, then what happens? Krishna will help us get out of this control, get out of the cycle of karma, which is actually binding us in this janma, mrityu, jara and vyadi. Right? Every time we get a body according to our past desires, according to our past activities. But how do we get out of this? When we perform akarma. That means when we work for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. Okay, so we'll read the purport. Anyone who's not read would want to read the purport? Okay, Rajalakshmi Mataji, I don't see anyone else's hand up. So you want to read the purport?
Yes, Mataji, can I read?
Yes, go ahead.
God impartially induces the fallen souls to act in the way that is consequent on the deeds of their previous births and to enjoy the fruition of their labors. But out of his great mercy to his devotees, he purges out by the fire of ordeal the root of all karma. Example, license of and evil desires. Karma, though without beginning, is still perishable. The karma of those who work with the hope of enjoying the fruits of their labors becomes everlasting and endless and is never destroyed. The function of sannyasa is also a sort of karma befitting an ashrama and is not pleasant to Krishna when it aims at liberation, that is, desire for emancipation. They also receive fruits of their karma, and even if it be disinterested, their karma ends in atma mamata, that is self-pleasure. But those who are pure devotees always serve Krishna by gratifying his senses, forsaking all attempts of karma and jnana, and being free from all desires save that of serving Krishna. Krishna has fully destroyed the karma, its desires and nascence of those devotees. It is a great wonder that Krishna, being impartial, is fully partial to his devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Krishna is impartial, right? Krishna samoham sarva bhuteshu, right? That verse in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna himself says that I am impartial, I am non-envious, I am equal to everybody. But this particular purport, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says Krishna is partial to his devotees. So is there a contradiction? Yes, there is a contradiction according to our material understanding, but you should understand that all of the contradictions end in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? It is said that Krishna is there in our heart. Krishna is also situated in the temple, right? How can one person be situated in different places? It's a contradiction. But we know that all contradictions end with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why he is called God, right? Otherwise, all of us will become gods, isn't it? So all of the contradictions actually find their explanation in Krishna's activities, right? We cannot define that Krishna has to act in a particular way only, right? If Krishna is equal to all, how can he be partial to his devotees? So we will just look at several Vedic references from where we can talk about all of these contradictions that are mentioned in the Vedic Shastras, right? First and foremost, we know Bhagavad Gita talks of 5 important subjects. What are those 5 important subjects? Jiva, Prakriti, Ishvara, Kala, and Karma. All are eternal. Nothing can be changed. But there is one thing that can be changed out of these 5 things. What is that? Karma. Karma is the only thing that can be changed. Everything else is eternal. They cannot be changed. But whatever is our karma, which is what are the activities that we are doing now, it is based on our desires of our past, and they can be changed, right? Today, if I am hearing, a particular sadhu telling me that if you work for the pleasure of the Lord, then you will get a karma. That means you will not be bound with the actions of your activities. And if I have faith in that spiritual master or sadhu is telling me, and from now onwards, what am I going to do? I'm going to work for the pleasure of the Lord. I'm not going to work for my own self-interest. I'm going to give up this aham mameti. I am this body. Whatever is pertaining to this body is mine. If I'm going to give up that consciousness and work for the pleasure of the Lord, then what happens? Krishna says that I will immediately destroy all the karmas of such a person who is imbued with devotion to me, who works for my pleasure, right? So what happens to all the karmas that we've accumulated until now, right? Krishna says that I will destroy all of those karmas. I will destroy the reactions of all the karmas that you have performed until now. But from now onwards, if you're going to engage completely in a karma or working for my pleasure, then I will relieve you from all the sinful reactions and all the positive karmas also, right? We've discussed in the previous classes how even when we perform pious activities, if we get pious credits, we have to have a material body to enjoy those pious credits. We have to have a material body to suffer our sinful reactions. We don't want a material body, because if there is a material body, then there is happiness, there is suffering, there is going into the 3 modes of material nature, wherein we act sometimes in Sattva Guna, we act sometimes in Rajo Guna, we act sometimes in Tamo Guna, and whatever activities we perform, we either enjoy or then we suffer, right? And in this world, Krishna has told it is Dukkhalayam and Ashashvatam. Right? Whatever we do, ultimately we will arrive at dukkha, because that is the nature of this world. So what is it that we want to do? We want to transcend the 3 modes of material nature. We want to go to that particular place where we don't have a material body. We have a spiritual body with which we are engaging in the service of the Lord. And this ground, the material world, is given to us for our reformation and for punishment. Right? Prabhupada tells in his lecture, we were all originally Krishna conscious living entities, but because we became envious of Krishna, and we wanted to enjoy independently, we've been sent to this material world, which is a place for reformation and punishment. How are we punished? Right? We don't ask for miseries, but miseries come our way. So that is a punishment. And how we respond to that punishment, right? Whether we take it like in the jail, right? All of them are given that punishment of breaking the stones or doing some kind of work. But there are certain prisoners who take up that activity and work according to the instruction. Okay, so we'll take the questions in the end, Mataji. So I'm just going to give some references from various scriptures, what we have to do and what Krishna himself is telling and what the devotees are telling, how we can escape this prison house. And then we can take questions. Okay. And the end, we will take questions. We'll finish the session by 12:15 and we will have 15 minutes question answers. Okay. So what was I saying? Yeah. So there are some prisoners, right? They act according to the jailer, whatever the jailer tells. You break this, you sit here, you sleep like this. And then what happens? This person is actually listening. Because why that person is listening? Because that person is thinking, oh, I have committed a crime. I've come to this place, right, where I can atone for my mistakes, right? When I atone for my mistakes according to what the jailer is telling me, then I can get relief from this prison house and I can be free. I can go out. So some prisoners are intelligent, right? They atone for what the mistakes they have done and they act according to the instructions of the jailer and then they get freed, right? So similarly, we are all in this prison house of material world where we are under the influence of the three modes of material nature. However, if we act according to the jailer's instructions, who is a jailer? Maya Devi. What is Maya Devi telling us? Right? You take shelter of Mahatmanas to Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Mashritaha. You take shelter of the words of Lord Sri Krishna. In this way, you will get freed from my clutches and you will go back to that particular world where they are not under the modes of material nature. Right? And then what does Krishna also say? In chapter 18, Arjuna asks Krishna, right? What is the difference between sannyasa and tyaga? Right? In this purport also, so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is talking about sannyasa, right? And he is also saying sannyasa is not good. Right? Why? Because sannyasa is also a sort of karma. It is just an ashrama, but it is not pleasing to Krishna. Right? So what is, again, the same question Arjuna asks Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter. What should I follow? Sannyasa or tyaga? Then Krishna tells Arjuna, between sannyasa and tyaga, you should follow tyaga. Because sannyasa is an ashrama of life, right? Which is within the varnashrama system. And sannyasa means they give up certain activities, right? And certain activities are prohibited for a sannyasi, right? That sannyasi does not get married. The sannyasi is not supposed to cross the ocean. The sannyasi is not supposed to light fire, etc. are given as the rules and regulations for sannyas. But we see Prabhupada had taken the sannyas ashrama, but he had crossed the ocean. He had gone to the Western world. He had preached the message of Krishna consciousness. He was cooking. He was cooking, cleaning the utensils. He was cooking on the fire. Apparently, Prabhupada was not properly following sannyas ashrama. So is it that Prabhupada is going to get entangled because he was not following varnashrama system properly? In the same paragraph, right, Krishna tells Arjuna, and Prabhupada also explains in detail in the purport, that for someone who's following Krishna consciousness, who's working for the pleasure of the Lord, right, even if he does not properly follow the varnashrama system, but if he is acting according to a higher purpose for making the entire world Krishna conscious, then he gets a result which is much better than a person who follows varnashrama system perfectly. Right? We also saw in one of the previous verses how somebody who follows varnashrama system perfectly for 100 lifetimes, he becomes Brahma. Right? The person who is talking about these verses, right? Glorifying the Lord. But someone who is not adequately, correctly practicing the varnashrama system perfectly also. But if he is practicing Krishna consciousness, if he tries very sincerely to work not for Atma Mamata, not for self-pleasure, but for Haritoshanam, for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he is supposed to be situated in proper devotional service. Even if he is sincerely only attempting, he is not a pure devotee yet. What is he sincerely attempting? He is sincerely attempting to practice devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. Savi pumsam paro dharma yata bhaktir adokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. That means this not only gives pleasure to the Lord, right? Ahaituki apratihata. That means I don't have a motive when I practice devotional service. I don't practice devotional service to get name, fame, glory, to get relieved of my health problems, to get lot of wealth. I don't do all that. Then if I do all that, then I'm doing karma kanda, right? Then I'm doing work that will give me positive results, what I want. That means I'm still engaging in sense gratification. I don't want misery. I don't want health problems. I want to be happy, right? As long as I is in the center of our world, we will be performing either karma or vikarma, right? Sometimes we steal others' money to purchase some of our comforts. So we are performing vikarma, but still sense gratification is my purpose. But sometimes I perform I help somebody, right? I help somebody, I work for somebody, but I want money in return. Why? Because I want to buy nice things for myself. Okay, very nice. You're doing in a very pious way. You're doing something, you're helping others. And what he has got money, you're having a deal exchange, right? Exchange of service. You give him what he wants, and then he gives you money. And that money you're using in sense gratification. And then what happens? You get pious credits. So again, you can enjoy with that money. You can do whatever you want, right? But you're not still bound by the rules of karma. You will take another body, right? Till the end of the life, if you have not sufficiently enjoyed your karma, or if you have not sufficiently suffered for your sinful reactions, you will get another body, right? And that can be Jalajana Valakshani, Stavara Lakshapimshati, Kramayo Rudra Sankyakaha, Pakshinam Dasha Lakshanam, right? What is that? Chatur Lakshani Manushaha, like that verse ends in the Vedas, that verse is there, right? If you performed sufficient credits, right, then if you qualified yourself to get a human body, then you will form part of the 400,000 species. Otherwise, you will very happily stay in the 800,000 species, right? 8 million species. You will get some body according to whatever is your desire at the time of death, right? If your desire is to enjoy a lot of money, lot of wealth, etc., then you may probably get a human body, or you'll probably get a dog's body where you will be guarding the huge property of an individual, right? Because there is also this very beautiful story of Narada Muni actually wanting to go and deliver a particular person. Right, this person is so attached to his family. He tells Narada Muni, right? Yeah, I want to go back home, back to Godhead. But now I'm not yet married. Let me enjoy a little bit and then I will come. And then Narada Muni goes back. Okay, do whatever you want. He gets married. He has children. And then Narada Muni comes. Now you have enjoyed. You're having children also. Now you want to come back home, back to Godhead. He says, no, I have to take care of my children. Right? And then, so let me do my work. Let me take care of my children. I will come later. And Narada Muni comes after 10 or 15 years, where his children are also married. And then he's become old. Now Narada Muni comes and asks, okay, come now, let us, I will take you back home, back to Godhead. Now he says, oh, my children are so useless. They are married, they have their children, but they still don't know to take care of the business. I have to be there to guide them. Okay, so let me just guide them, and when they become okay, then I will come back with you. And then Narada Muni comes back later when he is actually at the time of death. And then this person is saying, oh, my children, they still need me. I want to live forever. I'm still not ready to come back. I have to help my children. I have to help my children. In that consciousness, he gives up his body. And then what happens? He becomes a snake there, roaming in that courtyard, because he's still attached to that wealth, and he's still thinking, oh, what if my children misuse the wealth? Right? If they become paupers, and what will happen? So much attachment. So it becomes a snake in the courtyard, and he actually goes around that particular vault, the locker of the house. And then Narada Muni comes and asks, you are in a snake's body, right? Come, at least now come. And then he's saying, no, I have to guard this locker. Anybody who comes to steal from my house, I have to sting him and, somehow make him die. And then Narada Muni thinks, okay, this person, even in the body of the snake, he does not have this attachment. He goes and tells the sons, right? There is a snake who is loitering around the locker. If you safeguard the interest of your family, you should find the snake and beat it, right? And then the sons, they come and see, the snake is there. The father has actually become a snake. They beat up the snake, and then in this way, the snake dies, right? So in this way, the sons don't know that it is a father who's in the form of a snake. Because we are so attached to our aham ameti, right? Even after obtaining a snake body, we can see how much attachment is there to the property, to the wealth, to the sons, like that. Right? So that is why if we cannot give it up now, we cannot give it up ever. Right? There will never be a time when I'm satisfied with all of my material possessions, my family is well settled. Okay, now is the right time. There will never be a right time. The right time is now. When I work, now I don't have to take the sannyas ashram. Krishna tells Arjuna, right? You just surrender the fruits of your activities. Perform your duty. Right? Today, being a grahastha, being a woman, being a man in the grahastha ashram, performing our duties, taking care of our children, taking care of our old parents, right? Doing our swadharma, cooking every day, getting up in the morning, doing our normal chores, going to the office. We can practice not sannyas, we can practice tyaga. What is it that I have to tyaga? I have to tyaga sense gratification. I have to renounce my sense gratification. I have to perform my normal duties, not for my own sense gratification, but for the pleasure of the Lord. Right? Be detached. How can I do it as a grahastha? Right? So I give charity, give hard-earned money for the propagation of Krishna consciousness. Give it for the distribution of Krishna consciousness. Right? When you do that, then detachment automatically comes because it's our hard-earned money. When we are renouncing it, when you are renouncing a part of the results for Krishna conscious purpose, then detachment automatically comes. With practice, it comes. Right? And what is even better than that? Right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, if you can't do this, you do this. If you can't do this, you do this. Right? And Prabhupada also talks about, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada also talks about liberation. Right? Even if a person wants liberation, it's still sense gratification. That is why a devotee does not want Sayujya Mukti. Right? Because I don't want any suffering. I want to merge with the Lord. And be merged with the Lord's effulgence. That Sayujya Mukti will also not give us eternal happiness, because we have already discussed in the previous classes. We will again fall down back in this material world because we are seeking bliss. And that Sayujya Mukti is only giving us eternity. Right? Eternally we can be there, but we don't want to be there because we want bliss, we want happiness. Right? And even then, we're also talking about how the Paramatma realization also cannot give us that, because that can give us only eternity and knowledge that I am a spirit soul. Right? I am not supposed to be entangled with the body, and I'm going to be meditate on the Lord, and I'm going to be eternally happy. Right? You cannot be eternally happy. You can be completely knowledgeable. Right? Complete knowledgeable. I am not the Lord. I am a part and parcel of the Lord. That much only is there. But in the Bhagavan realization, what is it? I am part and parcel of the Lord. I can be happy only when I dovetail my efforts in the service of the Lord. So that is the eternal liberation. That is the actual definition of liberation. Right? In Srimad Bhagavatam, this actual definition is given. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.10.6 tells this. What does it say? Nirodasyanushayam atmana sahasaktibihi muktir hitvanyata rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. What is mukti? Mukti does not mean, you merge with the Lord, or you just, go to the planet of the Lord, Salokya, or you get a form like the Lord, Sarupya, or you get the opulences of the Lord, Sarshti, or you stay very close to the Lord, sit in front of the Lord and enjoy the Lord. Oh, the Lord, you are so beautiful, you are so wonderful, let me sit and enjoy. Right? Then as long as I want to enjoy, I am in material consciousness. What is liberation? Mukti is hitvanyata rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. When I am situated in my constitutional position. What is my constitutional position? Until I realize whether I have Madhurya Ras with the Lord, or I have Sakya Ras with the Lord, or do I have Dasya Ras with the Lord. Until I identify what is that, by the Lord's mercy, I have a permanent relationship with the Lord, which I can practice even today. What is that? Jivera Swarupa Hoye, Krishnera Nitya Das. I am eternally the servant of the Lord. That even before I can understand my constitutional position, or I get my Swarupa Siddhi, or I get my Siddha Deha, where I can render service to the Lord in my rasa with the Lord. Today I can practice it as a dasya. When I practice my dasya rasa very nicely in ahaituki apratihata mood, then Krishna will be pleased and Krishna will reveal to me what is my hitvanyata rupam swarupena vyavastiti. Until such time, where my swarupa deha is not revealed to me, I render service to the Lord. I can be transcendental to the three modes of material nature when I perform service to the Lord in dasya bhava, in the service to the Lord in the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. Right? How can this be done? Pure devotional service. can be done even having a material body. How can it be done? In Nectar Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami gives this, right? It's also forming part of Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, right? When a same instruction is repeated in several scriptures or is repeated twice in the same scripture, then we should understand that it is very important for us to practice that. So what is a pure devotional service definition? Anya abhilashita shunyam, right? I don't have any other interests. I don't want wealth, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Kavitamba jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmani ishware. Bhavatad bhakti rahitukitvayi. Shishtastakam prayers given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? Anya abhilashita shunyam, zero. I can't have 50% material desires. Morning time, Brahma Muhurta, I ask for devotional service, pure devotional service. 9 o'clock when I go to office, I want promotion. I want recognition. I want, if I don't get due credit for the project that I have done, somebody is stealing away my credit, I get very angry. Then what am I doing? Vikarma. I'm doing karma. Right? I use genuine means. I'm not doing anything wrong. I have done the work. I should get credit for it. Okay, you will get credit, but you will get only that much. But if you are not attached to the results of the work, Anya abhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadi anavratam. Right? There are so many yogis who are practicing Ashtanga yoga. Right? All of them want mystic siddhis. They want to become bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. They will get all of that. Right? But is that our goal? No. That is not our goal. Why? We can become bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. Yet we will get a material body. Once we exhaust all the credits, pious credits, then I will still get a material body, right? Whether I am an Indra, whether I become Brahma, whether I become an Indra Gopa, the red insect, right? Which bites too much, then it causes a lot of itching, right? Whatever body I may get, whether I get a beast or a bird or a frog or a Indra Gopa or an Indra or Brahma, once I exhaust my credits, right? And then I come back to this material world. Again, I get free will. What is it that I desire? It all boils down to one thing. What do I desire? Right? Jnana karmadi anavritam. I don't want any pious results. I don't want any knowledge beyond Bhakti Yoga. Right? We need to have Bhakti. Bhakti Yoga also needs some kind of knowledge. What is that knowledge? I am the servant of the Lord. I need to engage in the service of the Lord. That much knowledge is enough. Right? And all that knowledge which will help me increase my bhakti towards the Lord. All that knowledge is welcome. Right? But I don't want any knowledge which will increase my false ego, which will make me think that I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. Then why? Because that will enable me to just continue the cycle of birth and death. Right? So what is the definition? Anya abhilashita shunyam. No desire other than pleasing Supreme Lord. Jnana karmadi anavratam. No knowledge that will make me think that I am the Lord. Right? All that knowledge is welcome, which will make. That's why we are studying Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Samhita, Bhagavatam. All this knowledge is telling me what is my duty. I am one of the 8.4 million species. Right? What can I be proud of? Right? Jnana karmadi anavratam. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. This is very, very important. Right? Otherwise, we are still in knowledge platform. I don't have any desires. I don't have any material desires. Very good. I don't want to get any kind of knowledge that will make me proud. Very good. I am very humble. Very good. There are so many humble people who are in the material world. Right? Life after life, they are born in Brahminical families. They perform rituals. They perform education. They teach shastras, but still they don't know the goal. Right? Krishna himself says, "Sarvasya chaham Hridi sannivishto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo." Even after understanding Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, we're going to complete next week. If our understanding is not that I am the servant of the Lord, oh, the Lord is so glorious, the Lord is so great, I have to serve the Lord. If we don't get that understanding, then it is Shrama eva hi kevalam. All of our understanding of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Srimad, Brahma Samhita, all that is useless, Ugra Karma. If we don't arrive at the right result, right objective, the right knowledge that I am the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anukulena Krishnanu Sevanam. Very, very beautiful, very, very important to understand each of these words. What is that? Anukulena. Anukulena means favorably we have to practice. Krishna Anushilanam. right? I have to practice in a favorable way. We've been talking about Kamsa and Shishupal, always thinking of Krishna. They would have become pure devotees if they were only favorable, but they were unfavorable. They wanted to kill Krishna. They were thinking, oh, Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna. In his dreams also he was thinking of Krishna only. Unfortunately, unfavorable. That is why Anukulyena, very important. Krishna, Anushilanam. We have to develop a relationship with Krishna that is favorable. Either as Dasya or as Sakya or as Vatsalya or as Madhurya. As well as Bhanuswami Maharaj was saying. Right? When we are hearing the pastimes of the Lord, right? If you are attracted by a particular pastime, then you see, if you have a Vatsalya Bhav, then we want to cook for Krishna, very nice preparations we want to make for Krishna. We have Laddu Gopal in our home, right? Prabhupada says, instead of considering the Lord as the father, right? We should consider the Lord as our child, because father means what? We will say, I want this, I want this. That's what we tell our parents, right? I want this, I want a new cycle, I want a new, mobile. That's what we tell our parents, right? Teenagers, what do we do? Right? But if we have Lord Krishna as our son, as our daughter, right? Srimati Radharani, we want to serve Radha and Krishna in Vatsalya Bhav. We want to serve them. That is why devotees, when they go for yatra also, they ensure, what will my deities do? Should I give them in the care of the temple or some senior devotees? Or should we just offer some dry fruits, and ask them, pray to them, like Mataji was mentioning in the Bhagavatam class, Kalasudha Mataji, right? We invite them to come to the temple, to come with us, take a photograph of the picture. Every day we offer to them, we talk to them, we build a relationship with them, right? That is how we develop love for them, right? That's why Prabhupada, Bhakti, he never translated as devotion, right? Because whatever is in our mind is there, but how do we show it in action? That's why Bhakti is always translated by Prabhupada as devotional service. If we love somebody, we have to serve them, right? We love our children, but we don't want to prepare anything for them. We are busy doing our own thing. Is that love? No. That is what it is said. Prabhupada mentions in one of his lectures. The love that is there in the spiritual world, that can be seen in a little bit way in the love of a mother for a child, right? Because the mother wants to serve the child, even if the mother is unwell, even if the mother does not have the mood to cook, the mother is going and cooking for the family, for the child, right? So that is what it is. Service. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. Right? If we have to have a relationship with somebody, we have to serve them. Only then relationship is the result of service only. If you want to develop, cultivate a relationship with Krishna, you have to serve Krishna. We have to serve Krishna for his pleasure, not for my pleasure. I don't do only what I like in service of the Lord, right? That's the beginning stage. But we want to grow to that level where we want to develop a relationship with Krishna, where we do whatever Krishna says, whatever Krishna wants, right? Gopi Bhartu Pade Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Dasanu Dasa. That was the mood of the gopis. They were willing to give the dust of their feet for the pleasure of the Lord, because it relieves the Lord of 1 second headache, pain, right? So that is a mood we need to develop. That is pure devotional service. What we are doing now is Karma Mishra Bhakta, Jnana Mishra Bhakta. We want to get results also, we are doing Bhakti also. Right? Krishna says, Chaturvida Bhajan, what is that? Jana Sukritino Arjuna, Artho, Jignashur, Artharti, Jnani cha Bhartarshabha. Still good. Right? At least we are approaching Krishna. Right? Krishna will purify us of our desires. Right? The other day we were talking about Hiranyakashipu versus Dhruva. Right? It is always good to worship Krishna. Right? Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharadi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. We may have a lot of material desires. We are not going to artificially give up our material desires. From today, I have no material desires. Whatever I'm doing for Krishna. Right? If you're able to follow it through, very good. Even if you're not able to do it. Right? You pray to Krishna, oh Krishna, help me. Please help me. So many material desires I have in my heart. Please help me. Please protect me. Then Krishna will devise a way, right? Krishna will devise a way by which, for Dhruva Maharaj, what happened? He got his material desires also at the same time, he became detached also with the mercy of the Lord. So Krishna will identify what will work for us best, right? So whenever desire is pure devotional service and we pray to the Lord, right now I have too many material desires, but my desire is to come to the platform of pure devotional service. And Krishna will give us the intelligence how we can come to that platform. What is that? Anya Bilashita Shunyam. No desire for material sense gratification. Jnana karmadi anavritam, right? No knowledge or activities for my sense gratification. Whatever I do, whatever knowledge I acquire, whatever activities I do it because I want to cultivate this relationship with Krishna. And anukulyena, and such relationship has to be favorable, right? Krishna's uncle was Kamsa, but it was not a favorable relationship, right? It was more of a relationship where Kamsa was trying to exploit and take away everything, right? That we don't want to be exploitative. We want to serve the Lord, and that is Bhakti Uttama. That is the kind of relationship that we want to develop with Krishna, and Krishna also desires, right? Finally, in the purport, this very important verse from Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dveshu Sena Priya Eva Janti Tumam Bhaktya Mai Te Teshu Chapyaham. Right? Krishna tells in 9.29 that I am equal to all the living entities, but whoever renders service unto me is a friend in me, and I am also a friend to him. So is there a contradiction? Yes, there is a contradiction. Why? Because Krishna is Bhagavan, Krishna is a person. Right? Even in our material world, we see that when somebody helps us a lot, we are favorably disposed to that particular person. Similarly, the Lord is Parama Purusha. Right? The Lord also has feelings. The Lord also reciprocates with the devotees. Right? The Lord gives, just like the rain falls everywhere. But in the desert area, nothing grows. Right? Because the area is not fertile enough for anything to grow. But the same rain, when it falls on where there is cultivation that's possible, where it is a favorable, then plants grow, right? Fruits come up, right? Similarly, in our heart, right? Krishna has given us all the knowledge. Krishna is Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. He is equal to everybody. But what is it that we have created in our heart? Is our heart favorable for cultivation of bhakti? Right? If our heart is favorable for the cultivation of bhakti, because Krishna has given us all the ingredients, Krishna gives it equally to all the living entities. But if our heart is like a desert where nothing can grow, then that is how we have covered our heart with so much of anarthas, lust, anger, greed, pride, and illusion. However, if we have opened up our heart to pure devotional service, then Krishna is more favorably inclined, because our heart, Krishna is equal, right? But our recipient, the recipient of Krishna's mercy is according to how we have cultivated our heart. Right? It is in the patra that we are receiving the mercy. Right? If our pot is full with the lust, anger, greed, pride, and illusion, even if Krishna gives us pure devotional service, we don't have the patra to receive it. That's why we are not able to receive the mercy of the Lord. Although Krishna is saying, Shipram bhavati dharmatma, shashvat chantim nigachati, kaunteya pratijanihi, name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna says, boldly declare, right? He becomes quickly righteous and attains eternal peace. But what are we harboring in our heart? We are not receiving the mercy, right? Although engaged in devotional service, we don't want to empty our heart with all the unnecessary anarthas, right? To receive bhakti, we have to clear our heart, right? And finally, Krishna tells, Ananya chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. I bring what the devotee lacks, and I preserve what the devotee has, right? Krishna is promising this to anybody, right? Who is always able to think of the Lord. And who is able to think of the Lord? One who is out of this aham mameti platform. I want this, I bought this, right? So when we come out of this aham mameti platform, right? That's what is mentioned in the purport also. Then Krishna is saying, I will give you everything. I will carry what you lack, and I will preserve what you have. So in this attitude, when we are simply engaged in devotional service of the Lord, and we pray to the Lord, we beg to the Lord, like we confide into a person whom we have trust, right? That kind of trust we place to the Lord and his devotees, and we tell them, we have so many anarthas, we have so many material desires. But this is what I want to come up to. In this lifetime, I want to come up to the point of pure devotional service. Let me do what is told to me by my spiritual master, by the Guru Parampara, by Srila Prabhupada. In this way, my desire, that is all we can do. Right? All of our anarthas are there. Right? His Grace, Burijan Prabhu gives example of how in his Japa book, he gives this example. How there is a whiskey glass. Right? We have come to the process of devotional service. The whiskey is thrown. We have washed the glass also. But what is there? The smell of the whiskey is still there in the glass, even after having washed it 5-6 times. Right? Similarly, our previous inclinations are there in our heart, even though we want to give it up. Right? Krishna, Arjuna also asked Krishna, right? By what am I compelled to perform sinful activities even though I don't want to do them? And Krishna tells it is lust only, Arjuna. Right? That kama vasana is there in our heart. Right? How do we get cleared of all the kama vasanas? That is simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As much as we've accumulated anarthas in our heart, we need to perform the process of Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Right? As much we have to chant Hare Krishna more and more and more, so that all of our heart is cleared of all the anarthas. And then our heart becomes a right patra to receive the mercy of the Lord. And then we can come to the platform of pure devotional service. And then we can desire what Rupa Goswami desires. Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanote. Tundavali Labdaya. I want millions of ears. I want millions of mouths to chant and hear the glories of the Lord. Why? Because that gives pleasure to the Lord. Not because I want any sense gratification. Not because I want anything in return. Mama Janmani Shware Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahituki Tve. I simply want to engage in devotional service life after life for the pleasure of the Lord. And if that is our only desire, then Krishna will do Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. Right? We'll carry what we lack, and what we have, Krishna will preserve. Although a devotee does not want that. That is Krishna's promise. We will leave it to Krishna what he wants to do. From our side, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. That is our desire. So here we will end. Thank you all for your patient hearing. If there are any queries, there was a query. So thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu gyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We can come to the point of pure devotional service only when we serve, satisfy, please Guru, Gauranga, and all the Vaishnavas. Right? That's why we say Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu gyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord, are like kalpataru, Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, right? They are desire trees. They can fulfill the desires of everyone. So we want to take the mercy and blessings of all the Vaishnavas, all the assembled Vaishnavas. And in this way, when we please them, we will please Guru, and then we will please Gauranga. So that is the hope for us, right? Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. And then if all the devotees can unmute themselves now, we can take one or two questions. One Mataji. One Mataji was asking a question. Who was that?
Mataji, sorry, it is Rajalakshmi. Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Mataji. Mataji,
Yes.
when we say Dukkalayam Ashashvatam, Dukkalayam is actually means like, state of misery, right? And we again
Correct.
say Ashashvatam. So, when we say Ashashvatam, that means it is not permanent.
Yeah.
So I find it a little contradictory, Mataji. We always say the misery is not permanent, and we say the earth is the cause of misery. So wanted to understand this terminology a little better, Mataji.
Okay. So Dukkhalayam and Ashashvatam, right? Dukkhalayam means like you go to a Pustakalaya, you find books, right? So in this world, there is only Dukkha, because it's Dukkhalayam. There is no happiness, right? And why is it Ashashvatam? Ashashvatam means this miserable condition is not forever, because change is the only constant, right? See, absence of misery. Like, for example, I'm suffering from severe headache, right? And then somebody gives me a Dolo or what is that, some Crocin or something. And then I take that medicine and I go to sleep. When I wake up, oh, my headache is gone, right? So that nature, that is only Ashashvatam, right? But that does not mean I'm not going to get headache again, right? It is contradictory, because it is saying that it is only temporary. That means your misery is only temporary. After that, you will have a period where there is no misery, which we think happiness. But it's still Ashashvatam. And why? Because your next trouble will come after that, right? Where you may get the headache in the evening of the same day, right? So it is Dukkhalayam. Dukkha will come, but intermittently with Sukha. And what is Sukha? There is no Sukha. When you don't have Dukkha, when I have severe headache and when I don't have headache, then I think I'm in happiness. Is that happiness? No, it is just the absence of misery, right? So misery will come, misery will go. Matra sparshasta kaunteya, sito ushna sukha dukkadaha, agama paino anitya stam sitikshishva bharata, right? Happy. So just like miseries come without being asked for, happiness also will come. So it is temporary. This world is temporary, but it is true, right? This world is temporary means, the miseries are temporary, but they keep coming and going, right? Because that's why it is said ashashvatam and dukhalayam. Misery is eternal, but intermittently you will get happiness also. Is that okay? Does it answer your question?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. It's clear because I was always wondering why do we say Dukkalayam and again we say it is Ashashvatam. So
Yeah,
it was a little.
correct. Because happiness also comes, right? Absence of misery is happiness in this material world. There is no actual happiness. That actual happiness is only when we do seva. We can experience it in the material world also, right? When you're doing some seva, with complete absorption, we don't see the time is going, 2-3 hours are going. We are nicely dressing the deity and then we feel so much bliss in our heart. Right? That is a slight tinge of spiritual happiness that Krishna gives us so that we continue our seva. Some of us would have experienced when we are chanting 1 round, 2 rounds. Oh, so much bliss. Chanting is so much pleasure. Right? But after we come to 16 rounds, then Krishna tests us. Right? Now I have given you faith. Now, what is your endeavor? Right? We have to give our endeavor. And then Krishna will give his mercy. That Yashoda Maya and Damodar Leela, we can always keep in mind. Right? Krishna, even his own mother, right? She had to run so much behind him. And Krishna, and seeing his mother's endeavor and determination, he allowed himself to be bound. Right? So that's what it is. So happiness also comes, misery also comes. And that happiness is absence of misery. That's what it is. Okay, Mataji. Anyone else has any query?
Just to quote that, Mataji, like how you said it, spiritual bliss. Yesterday we were in the class of Amarendra Prabhuji and the session went on for 3 hours live. So we didn't even feel like it was 3 hours. It was so nice. Spiritual bliss only, Mataji. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. So, and spiritual bliss also, we should be careful. See, even in South India, I always tell about this Bhagavata Saptah, 7 days. People are in complete bliss. Oh, मैंने आज रास लीला सुना, Krishna ये है, वो है, right? That is spiritual bliss. But what is the result of that bliss? Is it transforming my life? Am I willing to dedicate my life to Lord Sri Krishna? Am I willing to follow the instructions given by Amarendra Prabhu in the class? That will determine whether that bliss is eternal or that bliss itself is temporary, or whether it is material pleasure. Sometimes, time pass के लिए movie भी देखते हैं तो हमको लगता है कि बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत मैं तो आनंद में थी, पूरा कितना अच्छा था movie. It moved me to tears, right? That kabhi kushi, kabhi gum, right? When I was hearing that when people saw that movie and came out, all of them were in tears, right? So that is also seems to be bliss. But what is the result? After that 3 hours of movie, we get headache. We want to watch another movie, or we want to do something different like that. Is that spiritual bliss? No. But even when we hear spiritual topics, what is our consciousness? Is our consciousness to imbibe the teachings in our life, to transform our life according to the teachings of the speaker, who's bona fide, who's coming in the bona fide parampara? Then it is spiritual bliss. Then it will have eternal effect. But if you are coming back and watching a movie or watching a TV serial, then that bliss is gone, right? That bliss is wasted, right? Shrama eva hi kevalam. Okay, Mataji, does that throw a little bit of light on it?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much for clarifying, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, from your statement, it can be understood miseries are by default in life and happiness is a creation by ourselves.
No, we cannot create anything. We cannot create happiness. Can we create happiness? See, I have a severe headache. Okay, so I take a tablet and my headache, and I have no control, whether the tablet is going to work for me or not. I cannot create happiness. The happiness and matra sparshaustu kaunteya sito ushna sukha dukkada. Happiness and misery will come and go according to my previous karmas. If I'm supposed to be relieved of the headache, even without taking the medicine, the headache will go away. Sometimes we wash our face and we find, oh, headache is gone. Sometimes we go for a walk and we find headache is gone. Sometimes we take a medicine and headache is still there. After taking the Crocin tablet, the headache is still there. Don't know what is the point. We try so many things. But when the headache has to go, it will go. But
Hare
that does not
Krishna,
mean...
Mataji, but we think, Hare Krishna, Mataji, but we think that temporary solution is the permanent happiness. That is where we have an illusion. That it is not permanent.
That is why I'm giving an example where we take a tablet, but our headache is still not going. There is a higher power. There is a higher power in play. It is not about just taking a tablet. That means every time we take a tablet, our headache should go. Why does it not go? Sometimes we have fever, it takes 5 days, sometimes it takes 3 days, sometimes it takes 10 days. So how much ever, that is why the laws of karma are very intricate. We cannot tell, 3 days by my fever is not going. Last time it went. We cannot create happiness. We cannot even create absence of misery in this world. Everything works according to a higher power. Everything works according to karma, which is very, very difficult to calculate. Right? Sometimes we get our reactions immediately. Sometimes we don't get it. Kutam, Bijam, Falonmukham. So many things are there. Nectar of devotion, right? Sometimes it's not fructified. Sometimes it's fructified. And sometimes a part of it is fructified. Sometimes we come later. We cannot create happiness, Prabhu. I hope that helps to answer your question.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. All right. So we understand that we are, Katputli. We want to be puppets in the hands of a spiritual master. Just follow their instructions. Whatever comes, accept it as the blessings of the Lord. Mahaprashade Govinde. Right? Whatever we get is the blessing of the Lord, and whatever suffering we get, right? Tattenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvad vapurvid vidada namaste jivetaye mukti pade sadayabhak. Right? We can get mukti hitvanyata rupam swarupena vyavastiti if with a grateful heart we accept any situation as the blessing of the Lord. Then the Lord himself says that in that situation, when somebody takes even a suffering situation, that I should have got a million times more suffering. But Krishna is so merciful. Krishna has just given me a token of my suffering. In that mood, if you are grateful to the Lord, even in the time of suffering, then even living in this material world, in this material body, we will experience transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. So that is our only hope. And then if you are experiencing transcendence in this material world, in the material body, what to speak of when we leave this body? Krishna will do yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Krishna will take us to that place where there is no more suffering. All right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rohini Mataji, you want to have a question?
Yeah. Mataji, you gave an analogy of the previous samskaras, the bottled whiskeys of that.
Burijan Prabhu. Burijan Prabhu has mentioned in his Japa book.
Gurijan Prabhu.
Burijan Prabhu is a disciple of Prabhupada.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Bhurijana, Burijan Prabhu. You can find his book, Japa. He has given excellent tips on how we can chant also effectively. Like he says, give a simple instruction to the mind. And then he talks about focusing on one mantra at a time. Several tips he gives. 10 tips he gives actually to how we can improve on our chanting. So you can refer to his book. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grantaraj, Srimad Brahma Samhita ki Jai, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava, Guru Parampara ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare. Thank you very much. We'll end the session here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Danutams. Prabhupada ki Jai.
Mataji, with your permission, I'm just ending this.